We're looking at worksheet A75 today, and we are doing more solving by factoring. So in order to do all of these problems, we want to put them in standard form with an ax squared plus bx plus c, and always set it equal to 0. We are using something called the zero product property. We're going to get a times b, or we're going to get these two quantities that multiply together to get 0. So either a equals 0 or b equals 0. So that is the quick version of the lesson. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set it equal to 0. Then we're going to use our factoring skills, and then we're going to use the zero product property solve. So here we go. Look at number 1 here. I want to set it equal to 0. Now my goal is to leave the x squared positive. So cross the line, change the sign. I want to get rid of the 3, so I'm going to subtract it. What should I pair it with? Should pair it with the constant -1, and I want to subtract the 6x. And when I go to subtract it, these cancel, but when I move it over here, it also cancels. Now, we go to put this in order. We want the x squared first, then what should I have? The x, but it cancels, so it's gone, and then what? I was going to go with -4 equals 0. Now, this one's a little bit different. When I go to factor, I've set it equal to 0. I want to look for a GCF. There is no GCF. But it does factor. What's missing in this? The b value is missing because it's 0, right? So when I go to break this up, because there's no GCF, I'm going to go with x times x gives me x squared. And what multiplies to get a -4? I want one positive and one negative. Guys, this was a difference of squares. Difference, got to be minus sign, square terms. Okay, all you've gotten is the factoring. You now need to solve it. So that last step, what would make this piece 0 if x was? -2, because -2 plus 2. What would make this piece 0? +2. Those are your two answers. Okay, number 3 is going to be a similar problem. Number 7 is going to be a similar problem to what we just did. Let's jump to number 5. When I say similar problem, because you are going to get those two terms and they're going to work out as difference of squares. All right, number 5 it looks like a lot going on. I'm going to leave the 9v squared on the left because when I subtract this, it keeps it positive. So subtract 8v squared. Now you could do this in multiple steps, but I think we're good to do it in one. I want to get rid of the -8v, so I will add it. What should I pair that with over here? With the -10v. So find your like terms. And then these are going to cancel, and I'm left with a positive v squared, a -2v, and a minus 48 equals 0. All right, then I'm going to break this down with factoring. Now, I'm going to start with v times v, and then what multiplies to -48? Well, I need one positive and one negative. That's the worksheet we're doing. I know, that's what I'm letting you know. All right, what are you finding? I heard it. Okay, I heard a 6 and an 8. Now, which one do you want to be negative? Yes, because we want them to add up to -2. So +6 and a -8. Now, that's the factoring. You could double check it. What would make this 0 if v was? -6 and a +8. So the opposite signs. Now, just to show you this, because it might help us later, if you have the harder factoring, what we're really doing is we're taking v minus 8, setting it equal to 0, and adding 8. That's where I got that from. Okay, flip it over. And let's look at number 9, please. It's already set equal to 0, so that's nice. Take a second and you try to factor it. One of the mistakes that we make is a lot of us just jump in and we're trying to make this happen. This is not a trinomial, first of all, and there's a GCF. So this is not going to work for us. The GCF for both of these is what? 5 and an n. Now, if it helps you to show that, what's left? 1n, or just n, and plus 3 equals, okay, it doesn't factor further. There's no n squared here. It doesn't factor further. I still get those two answers. It's 5 times n times this. N could be 0, or What would make this 0 if n was -3? So I just wanted to point that out, that sometimes there is a GCF. You will see another one like that. Go ahead and go to number 13.
Is this one with a GCF?
Maybe. Okay. First thing I need to do is set it equal to 0. Now, my choice is to leave the 6m squared here in positive. I know I have to move more things over, but I want a positive 6m squared. So cross line, change sign, I'm going to subtract 36m. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to subtract 42. Now I'm just stacking them up. Make sure you cross the line, you change the sign. I get 6m squared, a minus 36m, and a minus 42. And now it equals 0. Now, if I jumped into the two sets of parentheses and tried reverse FOIL, I'd have a lot more work on my hands because I could use 2 and 3, 6 and 1, and there's several factors for 42. I should try to take out a GCF first. All right, what's the GCF? I'm going to try 6. Does everything divide by 6?
Yes.
Could I take an m out of everything? No. Okay. So I've got m squared minus 6m minus 7. Double check your math facts. Keep the 6 on the outside and then break it down. So m times m, and what gives me -7? These are my only options are 7 and 1, and which one should be negative? Actually, I want the 7 to be negative so it adds up. So the bigger number needs to be the negative. So m minus 7, m plus 1. Now, does the order of that matter? No, as long as you have m minus 7, m plus 1. Okay, you have 3 pieces. Will 6 ever be 0?
Nope.
Okay, could this be 0? Yes. If m is 7. Could this be 0?
-1.
If m is -1. Okay, well, I'm good if you're good.